Right, so it is Tuesday the 10th of March. We're going to go over the USDJPY trade that we took, and then I'm going to do my outlook leading into tomorrow. So on the daily last night, I mentioned that we could potentially form a swing high here with UJ. We are inside this daily order block, and I was looking for lower prices. And what I mentioned on the 4 hour was if we close below this 4 hour fair value gap, we can then use it as a inversion level for us to go lower from. And we also made a 4 hour fair value gap here as well. So we had two confirmations here that I was expecting USDJPY to go lower. And if we take a look at DXY at the time as well, we traced into the new week opening gap, then traded lower, and I expected us to roll over here due to the S&T at the highs, because as you can see, USDJPY took out the 4 a.m. high and DXY didn't. So 4 a.m. high, see, we took it out on UJ, and on DXY we didn't take it out at the time. Obviously now we have taken it out as well. So once we had that, I was then looking for sells. On the 15-minute, we had a change in order flow here after this candle. So we had a push up, a stop run, and then the push up started from this area, and the candle that had the fair value gap is obviously your change in order flow level, and then we closed beneath that, and then I entered on the candle closure at 2:15 p.m. due to the daylight savings. Then we had this 15-minute BPR that we respected, and then obviously traded lower, and then out of nowhere we just reversed to stop loss. My break even level was going to be down here. So this was an A+ setup. I would take this trade 10 times out of 10, and there's nothing I can do or we can do about this setup. It's just one of them ones where you have to follow the rules, and eventually we will get out of this drawdown. I do get it's frustrating, and I do see you guys in the chat saying about, oh, we last took a win then. Once again, as I always say, you take these trades at your own risk. If you don't want to take them, that is up to you. But if you do take them, that is also your decision. There's nothing from me that is forcing you to take any of the trades. So please do bear that in mind. I understand that this is frustrating for all of us, even myself. It's not like I'm taking losing trades deliberately. Obviously, I'm trying to win trades, but I'm just going through a rough period in the charts right now, and I've never experienced this. And the reality of that is, because I'm doing it live in front of a group, there is going to be more added pressure, and people are going to say stuff which I completely understand. Like, you guys are paying money for this, but at the same time, you guys making comments in the chat and stuff isn't going to help. So I'd completely understand the frustration, but yeah, this was a setup that I would take 10 times out of 10. We are obviously down 2% for the month right now, and we will see where we end up the end of the month and also the end of the year. I'm not judging my performance based off 2 and a bit months. I think we're -6% for the year, so one or two trades that can be flipped on its head instantly. So we shall see how we go on that one. But that is the UJ breakdown. Just a fairly simple, easy breakdown. There was nothing more to it. It wasn't a bad trade at all. It was a good trade. But going on to the daily bias on DXY. So just make sure there's no questions on that. Yeah, and I do get that it obviously is a loss, but when we were taking winners last year and people were getting payouts and stuff, at one point we were up nearly 40% within 6 months. So we're still up, I think it's like 22% when the Discord's open. Like, that's very good results still. It's just unfortunate that we're going through a period like this now. So, yeah. Tomorrow we do have, no, not Friday. What is going on here? So yeah, tomorrow we do have CPI. So the plan of action for tomorrow is we're not going to do anything till after CPI. We obviously do have the live stream for CPI tomorrow. So we will see what basically happens with that. What I am expecting, I'm still expecting a move lower into this daily fair value gap before moving up higher. We do, I'm pretty sure, have SMT. Yeah, we do have, so that's the 4th of March. No, so yeah, there isn't SMT at these lows yet, so I wouldn't be confident that these lows are going to hold. What I will be looking for is what we were looking, well, I was looking for at the start of London today. So we have now run above this high. So obviously we're not trading till after CPI, but if we can consolidate here, then maybe CPI some manipulation, and then we can look to go lower into the daily fair value gap. That is what I will be watching for. If we do just trade lower from here, and at the CPI release we are at the daily fair value gap, we will just have to monitor and basically see what price does, and then we will make a bias from there. So, but for now, I am looking for a move into the daily fair value gap. On Euro, we have already hit the daily fair value gap now, so there definitely is a potential for us to trade lower. We are currently at this 1 hour low, but it's still dependent on what DXY does. So for now, it is really just a waiting game till CPI passes. I don't want to create a bias and stick to the bias too much, because CPI can wipe out that bias completely. So if we take a look at pound as well, we're at this low. So depending on how we react, if we manage to stay in this 1 hour fair value gap, I can definitely see high prices. But if we start to trade through this, then obviously I think we are going to go lower. USD CAD, we didn't get the move up into this high here, so I still do think USD CAD we can trade up into the Monday high, and then go lower from there, because this is a 4 hour week high. So I definitely do still think that we can be bearish on USD CAD. And if we also look at the daily time frame, we are still respecting this daily inverse fair value gap, and we also have this bearish daily fair value gap here that we can definitely look for sells from. USDJPY, the daily closure is a bit ugly, so I don't really have a bias on this, and I won't be focusing on this going into tomorrow now. Gold just consolidating as well. As you can see on the daily, we have now touched this daily BPR, bearish BPR. So yeah, nothing to watch on that. So this isn't the biggest daily live stream, because there simply isn't that much to speak about, and unfortunately that has been the reality of the markets over the last few weeks or so. All we can do is wait for the CPI release, because obviously trading before CPI you can trade before CPI obviously, but if you are in a position, you do have to be break even or your stops in profit by the time news release comes out. And if you're in a trade and you're around entry, my advice would be to close it due to the risk. But yeah, if we take a look at Euro Pound as well, still just grinding lower. I do think a retracement is likely to this daily fair value gap. That is what I'm thinking currently, and then eventually go to these lows down here. That is because if we look at the weekly as well, all these lows down here, I think, is the next objective. So depending on what DXY does, if obviously euro pound is bearish and DXY is bearish, that means pound will be the stronger bear to long. So yeah, it's not the most interesting daily outlook due to us having the CPI release and not having the clearest of bias going into tomorrow. So yeah, does anyone have any questions? Yeah, we will be going live for CPI. Obviously, I did say here Wednesday the 11th at 1:15, but CPI is now at 12:30. So I will put an announcement out that it will be at 12:15 UK time instead of 1:15 because I didn't realise that daylight savings was this week. So yeah, hopefully we can catch a nice trade after the CPI release. But we will just continue to follow all of the rules and we will get there. But yeah, just stick. I know it's hard, but just stick with me to the end of the year, and I'm certain we will have a positive year by the end of the year. Let's see. Obviously, with the trades, it's always up to the individual trader. If you want to get in the trade, if you don't want to get in the trade, that's all up to you. I don't force anyone to do anything. And if you want to move to break even earlier, you can. But my break even level is when we take out a short term objective or a lower time frame objective. And my break even level for this trade would have been this low here because this was a low that took out these lows down here. So me personally, I would have gone to break even here, but we didn't get it. But if you wanted to go break even earlier, you could have. That is up to you. So yeah, it is up to the individual trader to make that decision for themselves. I will post when I do it, but if you want to do it earlier, then please do so. But yeah, if no one has any questions, we will see what we get after CPI release tomorrow, and we shall go from there. So yeah, thank you.